What do you really think of all the videos on TikTok?
Um, I think what gets a lot of these girls, not I don't want to say in trouble, but I think for a lot of sororities they don't enjoy them because ever since 2021 when all these TikTok videos were going viral, which was outpacing the Olympics during that time, which I thought was funny. Um, I think when that started to happen, and then the trend caught on last year and now this year, sororities are thinking like, well, these girls aren't serious. They only want clout or they want to get famous. And I think it's a detriment to those potential new members. But I think they're cute. Like it's interesting to kind of see like, oh, like this girl put this outfit together or whatever. And now you're seeing girls of different ethnicities, different, various different backgrounds. So, it's like really interesting to kind of see all of that. But I personally think they're cute, but I can understand why sororities wouldn't want them to do that.
What do you think that it is about like people from the outside that kind of why do you think they're so fascinated by it?
Because everything is a secret and everything is, kept, only between like this small group of people. And I think when you have that, like, that secrecy or whatever, I think a lot of people are like, well, what are you keeping a secret? Like everyone loves to hear a good secret, right? So I think it's just like, well, what are you hiding? It's like there must be something there. I think that's why people get fascinated with it because at the end of the day, behind closed doors, they have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I could see that, right? Because you see this stuff and you're like, well, if they're doing this in public, what are they really doing?
Hmm.
What's really going on?
Yeah.
Is there usually a big secret behind closed doors, or it kind of like amounts to you go behind the secret curtain and it's the secret sauce is just mayonnaise and ketchup kind of thing?
Um, yeah, so this is really funny. At the end of the day, most sororities like they have an initiation, right? Like at the end of your new member program or pledgeship. When I was at the end of the day, a lot of the initiations are like relatively the same. It's
It's pretty
like
much all the same.
yeah. And so with that being said, like I think if you did look in, you would just see like this beautiful house with these lovely girls inside. And at the end of the day, it's just a big meeting.
When it goes through like the rush process, the selection process, is this about somebody's grades, somebody's morals, somebody's ethics, or is this like she's cute and she's pretty, she looks like us, bring her in the club?
I would definitely say it's a little bit of both. So I think more of the like, she's a well-rounded person. We really like her. But there are certain houses at certain campuses that are more like, oh, she's really cute. Like, we would love to have her. We call them looks houses. And so that's kind of like what they're into. And that's perfectly fine. If that's something that you're into as well, then Godspeed. But I think some other girls are more like, we want the full package.
So, as a rush consultant, like, what are you doing basically?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I get asked that a lot. Like, what could you possibly be teaching these girls? And I am teaching them a lot. Having my background in human resources allows me to, one, have sometimes difficult conversations with these girls. Like, sometimes they need to be brought down a little bit, or they need to, like, take a step back and look at the big picture of, like, what this really is. So I have a lot of experience in doing that. But in addition, I help them with the prep of doing it. So that could be the registration process. They now have to make a video. They have to do essay questions. So it's not just like showing up in a cute dress anymore. It's like really walking them through that process. And when you go to a school like Alabama, where they could potentially have 3,000 girls going through recruitment and only 18 houses available, how do you stand out, right? It's competitive in the sense of like if there's houses that certain girls want, it's going to be harder to get into those houses. So how do I help them stick out and shine? And that could be in a lot of different ways, whether it's their social media presence, how they do their video, how they do their essay questions, um, and their conversations during the party. So I help out with all of that. And then wardrobe also.
So I only know about this from like what I've seen on social media.
Hmm.
And when I look at it, like everybody kind of looks the same. Like this house, they all look the same.
Hmm.
This house, they all look the same.
Hmm.
Is
That's
that
by
true?
design.
Why is that?
That's by design because it's marketing. They want to market themselves as a certain type of house or sorority on campus, and it's so that they can pull in those same types of girls. And if you notice, it's the same exact sororities from the exact same campuses that always do the videos on social media. There's a lot of other sororities that you don't see them doing that because they don't have to, you know?
Oh, so really the ones that you see on social media, those are kind of the quote unquote lower houses.
I think it's not that they're like a lower house. I think it's just that that's what they like to present themselves at as, and then they like to pull in those same types of girls.
School where sorority is everything. Like what schools would you say like, "Oh, it is everything at these schools"?
Alabama, Georgia, Auburn, Ole Miss, University of Florida, UNC. I'm trying to think where else. It used to be Texas, and it's not a huge thing anymore because like the student population is so diverse now. Indiana, oddly enough. Um,
Why does it seem to be confined almost exclusively to the South?
Tradition. A lot of the women who went to school down there end up staying down there because they're from the area, they're from the region. So they stay down there, and their mothers were probably in sororities, and their mothers were probably in sororities. So it's this line of tradition that continues. And I don't want to sound mean or anything, but if this is what you want to do, this is fine. But a lot of them may not pursue a career. So they're in junior league or anything like that where they're getting involved in kind of like another sorority, if you will. And that just kind of continues and they're a part of it, which is great. Like, that's fine. But then there are areas where, like, let's say the East Coast, where you won't find a lot of sorority alums in this area. It's really hard actually to find them. If they're married and have kids and like live in the suburbs or wherever, it's harder to find alums living in that area than in the South.